Hello everyone, this is simply Buddhism. This is like an introduction little video clip or audio clip that to introduce people who wants to learn about Buddhism, want to understand, get some idea what Buddhism is all about. So this little video here, this audio clip here, will attempt to do that in a short period of time. Okay, so what is Buddhism? Buddhism is a teaching of the Buddha. Okay, the Buddha is a title. Okay, just like the president or the secretary or the CEO, and like that. So the Buddha is not a name, it's a title. Okay, and the Buddha that we all got to know, his actual name is Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha, when before he reached enlightenment, he was a prince who lived in northern India, and he left the kingdom, he left the palace um, at the age of 29 and went into the forest, to look for the truth, look for, I guess, the meaning of life, what life is all about. And at the age of 35, he discovered what it's all about. That's when he reached enlightenment. Okay, and from that time on, he teach for 45 years until he reached the age of 80. He passed away at age of 80 when he finally entered nirvana. Okay, so what is his teaching? What he teach about? He teach about the truth, about all the truth that what is happening around us and us included. He teach about the universal law. Okay, and but the most important thing that he teach, not just the law of the universal law, but the main thing that he stressed upon is he teach about the word I, about you, about I, about who am I, about who we are. Okay, because we don't seem to know who we are, because after he goes around and try to find the truth, find the meaning of life, go around and around and comes back to us ourselves. So he finally sat down and found out who he was. Okay, and once he found out who he was, then he got to understand who other people are, because basically people are pretty much the same. We all function the same. Take out the nationality, take out the race, the color, take out the language, whatnot, and it comes down to just human. We all pretty much function in the same manner. The way we think, the way we receive information, the way we interpret information is pretty much very, very similar. Okay, so what he discovered, it's called the Dharma. So the Dharma is pretty much is the truth of everything, the truth of all things. Okay, so that's called the Dharma. So the Dharma is always there, has always been there, because the Dharma is a universal law. Okay, it's not something that Buddha created, or anything like that. He just discovered it, and once he discovered, oh, what life is all about, how we come into being, and other being, how we come into their being, and not just human being. We're talking about all kinds of being, animals, insects, and all that included. That's what he discovered. Okay, so the I is the main important subject that the Buddha teach. The Buddha teach us to understand who we are, to understand the I. What is this I all about? Because that's what it boils down to. What is this I made of? What is it comprised of? Okay, so he break down the I, into the teaching of the body and mind. Okay, what is the body and the mind that we have, that we're using every day, our mind that we call I, that we call ourselves, and how does the mind work? How does the mind and the body interact and work together, that make us who we are? Okay, why we think this way and why we think that way, and what make us think in a certain way, and which make up us that we call I. All the feelings that we have. How did it come about? The love that we have, anger, hatred, jealousy, um, envy, all the feelings. How do those feelings come? Sadness, happiness, the suffering, and all that. Everything, because there's so many kinds of emotion that we go through every day. How does it come about? And that's what the Buddha teaching is, for us to understand what is it that is going on, between the body that we have, the physical body, and the mind that we're going through, the happiness, the suffering, the the love, the hate, the jealousy, the gossiping, the all kind that going on. And once you find out what's going on, you go to find out what create all of that, which we call ourselves. Then you get to understand, oh wow, okay, so that is what I call I. So that, after all, that's what I is all about. See, that's a wonderful thing, because if if we go through life every single day without knowing what's going on, who's doing what, who is this I who's doing this thing, that thing, and but once you got to understand why you say certain thing, why you perform certain thing, what create that and all that stuff, then you become what we call mindfulness. Now you get to understand, oh, who you are, who I am. And that's, once you get to understand that, you become more tranquil, you become more peaceful, and that's when happiness grow. Because when you don't know, you just go through life, you just think, hey, that's what life is, rushing there and going there and doing that and do all that, and you think that's what life is. Well, not exactly. Okay, because when you find out what it is, what the Buddha discovered, it will sort of like, oh wow, open your eyes and say, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I was kind of in the dark, but once you discover what the Buddha had discovered, it'll be like a big wow, a big surprise, a big wake up. You know that okay. And when you have that moment, when you have that wake up moment, and the wake up moment there can be many wake up moments, like a step by step. You found out one thing, and then you go down to the next thing, and you find out, and then you go wow again. It's like that, and then you start to have this awesome feeling that you start to understand who you are. who we are. And that's probably the most wonderful thing that any individual, any being, you know, can get to know, because after all, that's once you know who you are, I mean, there's nothing. It's that's it, You know what I mean? It's like, wow, okay, there's nothing else that you need to really know once you know who you are. But that's the important thing, And all you have to do is, see, that's the thing. That's that's what we call Buddhism. The teaching of the Buddha is not a religion, you know, because religion is based on belief. But the teaching of the Buddha um, is not based on belief. It's based on truth, based on fact that the Buddha discovered, and he doesn't just come and say, "Hey, come and believe in me," believe me. He never said that, and actually, the very last words that he said before he passed away, you know, because he already foresee, what can happen in the future. He said, just because you hear it, just because you read it, it doesn't mean that it's the truth. Okay, so but first you need to listen to it and you read it. But if you have question, you ask, and then you contemplate, you analyze it, okay, and you think and you find out for yourself if that what you read or what you hear is true or not. It's from with your own experience and your own experience only that you can find out the truth of what you read or what you hear. And once you find out that truth by yourself, you're gonna sit down and say, "Oh wow, okay, I got it." And once you get it, there's nobody else can take it away from you. It's just like you understand math, like 2 plus 2 is 4. There's nobody else can tell you no, 2 plus 2 is 5. Because you already know it's 2, it's 4. So that's what the teaching is all about. He says, don't just go about be ignorant and believe people. Listen, just because from whatever the Buddhist canon or the sage that claim to be in all this all that. He said, okay, listen and but analyze yourself, study what is written. So um a lot is so that's the main important point. Okay, so then you get to understand. So what about the concept of like heaven and hell, and and rebirth and reincarnation, next life, and all that stuff? You know, Buddha would not don't want you to worry about that. Um, Buddhism is not about it's not doesn't teach you about heaven or about hell. You know, in Buddhism, nobody is gonna you know come and take you to heaven after death. Buddha never said that. Never. Or nobody is gonna come take you to hell either. Buddha never said that either. Okay, it's just karma. And that's something that we're gonna touch on later. So karma is the engine of all things. Okay, so heaven and hell, don't worry about it. Because um, Buddha in Buddhism, just like I said, we're not about study about heaven or hell about or after death. Okay, you do good deed now. So now people try to do good deed because they want to go heaven and all that stuff. It doesn't happen like that. It does, it's more than just oh you want to go heaven. No, but the main concentration is about here and now. Once you understand who you are, then happiness come upon you here and now. Okay, that's the important thing. So so the and in Buddhist country, you see people go to temple, do the ceremony and all that stuff. You probably think, oh, what about those worshiping and all that stuff? People go there and worshiping is that is when people in Buddhist country, when people go to the temple, actually it's just to pay respect to the triple gem. The triple gem being the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Dharma and the Sangha, which is the monastic community, the disciple who continue the Buddha's teaching, helping guiding people on the way to walk the path that the Buddha has walked. So that's pretty much what it is. So the Buddha teaching, he is doing his best to show you what happiness is all about, what he had reached, which we all call nirvana. So it's like a state that once you reach that spot, you understand a lot of pretty much everything, and that's the ultimate happiness that any being can achieve. So the Buddha reached that state, and he comes back and tell people, hey, there's a state called nirvana there that you gotta experience it for yourself, to understand it. Okay, so that's that's a short summary of what Buddhism is all about. Okay, so if you're interested in that, which I think I think anyone should be very excited to find out who he or she actually is, and I think this is a great place to start. All right. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up for now. This little intro. Okay, and we'll go into further other stuff. And hopefully see you here very soon. All right. You have a wonderful day or wonderful evening.